This popcorn-style review contains scenes from another video. Mahou Shoujo Lyrical Nanoha StrikerS. And I believe it is StrikerS and not StrikerS, partially because the S is capitalized in the stylization, but also because I believe the S stands for, stars. I think Stars, which is the name of Nanoha's team. So this takes place when Nanoha and Fate are in their 20s, and they now live together. There's a scene where, Hayate sleeps in the bed with them, but Hayate is consistently shown throughout the franchise to have a house of her own with, the Belkin Knights, so I think she may have just crashed at their place that night. Whereas Fate, very specifically, is only ever seen at Nanoha's house. So Nanoha and Fate live together. They live somewhere else. And they're in their, 20s now, and they've moved away from Earth to the, homeworld of the military place, which I would try and say its name. I think Midocloe, I think is what it is, but I always see it and think, midichlorian. So they moved to homeworld midichlorian. Fate is an agent for the military. I don't know what she does, because she seems to do the exact same thing everyone else does in this entire series, specifically this season, which is, try and take down terrorists and look for ancient magic artifacts. But she does something. Nanoha's job is a lot more easy to figure out. She teaches aerial combat, which has always been her specialty anyway. Because she's been able to fly since age 9, which is considered a pretty hard to do fucking thing, which makes sense because, again, power de-escalation. Characters in later seasons can't even fucking fly, but she teaches aerial combat, and Hayate decides to create an elite squad, because Hayate outranks them now for some reason. Hayate decides to create an elite squad for that's it's a special task force to deal with uniquely dangerous threats, and Nanoha and Fate are we're fucking in. So they end up taking on these apprentices. And there's this whole plot about the scientist who's been creating they're called combat cyborgs, which are an attempt at creating super soldiers through robotics and science mixing to make more powerful soldiers. And this is also the guy that helped clone Fate. And he's trying to create a clone, he's trying to create a clone of an ancient Belkin queen, Belkin saint, sorry. They call her a queen later, but she's a saint, to get control of this giant battleship. And the whole season has this undercurrent of military politics, but I'm gonna be honest, none of this is particularly interesting, and it's not the reason why I enjoyed StrikerS so much. One thing I will say in regards to the combat cyborgs is that they have personalities, but they don't matter so much in StrikerS as they will in later seasons. But I do want to address the point where the scientist says that he put clones of himself in the wombs of all of his combat cyborgs that work for him. And in the future seasons, this is never mentioned, and we never see these clone children. And none of them are pregnant during any of the later seasons. So my only assumption is that all of the combat cyborgs got abortions. That's the only thing I can conceivably think of. But I just wanted to address that point. And so what the meat of this is about the new people that are being introduced, and it shows a little additional techniques of magic. One of the girls specializes in long range combat, like Nanoha always did. One of the girls she's kind of a hit and run fighter, Fate. But there's also a summoner. They add new forms of magic that's not just long range and hit and run tactics or the in your face melee combat of the ancient Belkins. So it's interesting to see that magic isn't all just about hit and run tactics. There's other techniques that can be used, like summoning, or in later seasons there's golem construction, or puppeting your own body, or whatever the fuck that witch girl is. So that's pretty interesting. And all of the characters, you get to see how Nanoha and Fate grow up and how their personalities change over time. Nanoha is super nice and nurturing, but if you fuck with her, she will fuck with you. She will just wreck your fucking day. And there's a great moment at the end of the fucking show. I'll get onto that one later, actually. I will talk about that later. But yeah, so you get to see the characters, and some of them are like so determined, and they do this like reckless dumb shit, and you get to see them develop as like their instructors, like Fate and Nanaha, like slap their shit and be like, hey, knock that off. You're being a fucking idiot. You're gonna get everyone killed. And you see them come together as like a team and develop as people. And it's actually the new characters and the old characters developing and changing over the course of this, like their character arcs, that makes me think StrikerS is so interesting. And it's why StrikerS is my favorite season of Nanoha. Another important aspect of this is that during StrikerS, Nanoha ends up, like, they acquire one of the clones created by the Doctor, and it's this little girl named Vivio, and Nanoha and Fate end up adopting Vivio as, like, their daughter. So not only do they live together, they also have a daughter who calls them both Mama, although legally Fate is, like, her like, godmother, but I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? And Vivio is an okay character. One thing to note that I just, like, forgot about is that whenever someone gets their ass kicked in Nanoha and, like, they become friends with, like, another character, that character's personality will immediately completely change to a different personality. Like, it happens with Fate. It happens with the Combat Cyborgs. It doesn't happen with Hayate. Hayate actually maintains her personality pretty consistently, and the Belkin Knights mostly do too. But it happens with, like, a little girl from this, I want to say Lulu. She has purple hair. She is of marginal importance for the franchise. But yeah, everyone, their personality is just like 180, just out of nowhere. It's not great. I would like to see them having to work through their struggles more, but we got fucking time constraints, and we don't have time to develop every character, so. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic, your Envoy of Hope. Bye-bye.